Good morning, members of the board. For the record, my name is Jim Sulton. I am a former I-502 retail store owner, and that in itself reflects part of the reason I'm here today. I would like to first condone or second the presentation by Mr. Barfield and to applaud the work that he's doing to look at racial disparities in the cannabis industry as it's being implemented here in Washington State. I think you will agree that in Washington, Colorado, and other states where marijuana has been legalized, part of the impetus has always been related to racial disparities in the criminal justice system, the unfairness with which black and brown people have been persecuted through state laws for using or possession or consumption of marijuana products. Part of the rationale for establishing a legal regime was to rectify or reverse that problem. But unfortunately, that has not been a priority here in Washington. It's understandable. I'm not criticizing the LCB. I think it's very difficult to start a new industry, and what you have done has been salutary in many ways. But at the same time, it's a little bit hypocritical to base it on the reference to communities of color and then ignore the communities of color in the implementation phase. Part of that disparity is magnified in the criminal justice system, but part of it is also reflected in the kinds of stores and grow operations and cultivations and production and processing facilities in the state, where you do not find African American, Latino, or other minority groups well represented at all. This can be effectively reversed if the agency is proceeding in a way that's consistent with I-502. To wit, we note the distinction between policy and practice. And the policy studies are being done by the Washington State Institute for Public Policy or the Alcohol and Drug Abuse Institute, as reflected in the paper presented to the state in June of 2018 by doctoral candidate Kaislyn Firth. And there, the author looked primarily at the criminal justice system and saw, as the comparison was undertaken before and after 502 implementation, and pointed out that more black and brown people were being arrested and convicted. It was the same after the implementation. And nobody blinked an eye. No one is blinking yet. And we are here trying to call attention to what we think is an imperative. It is mandatory to look at this. It is important not to pay lip service to it. What gets measured gets done. We're not measuring it. And that was pointed out in Mr. Barfield's presentation. Finally, I would ask to consider an analogy, if you will, between higher education and what we're doing in this industry, as far-fetched as that may seem. I was the former executive director of the Higher Education Coordinating Board here in the state of Washington. I know that everyone always says diversity is a premium value and then goes along their merry way. But if diversity is a premium value, it would be reflected in the faculty of our colleges and universities, and it's not. It constantly grows worse. I would ask the board to intervene and to implement policies based on data, based on studies, such as are authorized by the law, so that you can rectify and reverse this trend. Thank you so much.